$5 a month for everything. Unlimited data, you name it. You could call Timbuktu, and it wouldn't cost you nothing more. But they said what it was is they wanted to keep track of the drug dealers. So they would give it out so cheap, so the drug dealers would all come and buy it, and then they could track the phones and listen in on what they were saying. So they would give it out.
All right. Well, I'm live now. Hi, everybody. I got Brian from Motor City Aquatics here on the phone with me.
I forgot you were going live. My bad.
That's all good, man. I'll let you go. You can listen in.
All right. Yeah, I'll hop on right now. I'll watch it.
All right, brother. Be safe.
All right. See you.
Later. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Keeping It Shrimple, episode number 24. Yay, it's Wednesday. We made it. Some quick hellos. Crown Tail, hello. She was here first. Frank Basanta, hello. Jeff Kane, Matt, Liquid Zoo, Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. Skipper, what's up? I love shrimp. I need shrimp. It's picking up cichlids. Hello. Dennis. Shooter's Range, made it. 3G, what's up? Patrick Hardy. Hello. That was fun. Interesting. Brian forgot I was streaming, so he calls when he gets on his way to work and talks to me while he's driving because it's a long drive and he gets bored. So he calls me and we chit chat. Oops. Already not meant for children. Oops. Let's see who else snuck in here. Monster Fish Gal, Brian snuck in here. Shane. Dee Dee. Hello, Dee Dee. Good to see you. That's funny. Anyways, I put the post as the live stream was going to be talking about breeding clown killifish and shrimp. Of course, we got to talk about shrimp. Why?
Shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Hopefully you noticed I made a little bit of a change so that way I'd give it a little bit more time because it went by too fast, I thought. I love shrimp. Yes, you got some on the way, Lefty. Hopefully you'll be very pleased. I'm sure you will be. Hey, there's Crown Tail. She came back. Jay Oliver, what's up, brother? Cool deal. Everybody's piling in. Well, hopefully y'all got a chance to see my video that I did on the clown killifish. It was an ordeal, kind of, because there was a lot of footage for me to edit down into that 15 minutes for the final clip. And it was a fun series to do because I did get video pretty much throughout, at least once a week throughout the entire process since, when did I release the first one? At the end of the year, December 31st, I think. So I started in the end of November-ish, but I used some footage from July. But anyways, that was a lot of taking video and then to get it and edit it down to 15 minutes was really hard because there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to keep, but I also had to go through and decide kind of what was best and what I thought you guys wanted to see. And so capturing the development from colorless all the way to the third part where they have color, they're big, they almost look like they're trying to be adults and spawning. They're nice and round. And now the oldest female from the very first video was the first one that I saw, I think. She's grown up all the way to the same size as the mother. So now there's two females of the same size in the tank. So that's pretty cool. And it was really fun getting all of that video. And like I said, editing it down from an hour's worth of video to 15 minutes was really hard. And I watched it a ton of times just to get it down to what I think you would enjoy the most. So hopefully you got a chance to watch it, and hopefully we learned something. Hey, Dee Dee. Awesome. It's been fun being on there. Of course, I'd love to talk more, but you ladies, you got it down pat, and y'all talk. So I don't want to interrupt. But yeah. Hey, Daniel. Hello. Dr. Anthony. Hello. Geek Boy. Wow, a bunch of people sneaking in here. Whoa, let me go back up, scroll back up. Okay, I think I said hello. Hopefully I didn't miss you. Mountain Greenery, hello. But yeah, doing all of that, I really learned a lot. And I said it in the third part that I truly believe that if anything that I learned, keeping it shrimple was number one, the main thing that I learned, because I tried to pull fry and put them in a breeder box, hoping that they wouldn't get eaten, but they didn't make it for whatever reason. They got stressed out. It wasn't right water. I don't understand, because it's the same water from the tank. That didn't work. I waited till they were a little bit older and only pulled a couple of them and put them in the breeder box. That didn't work either. So what worked the best was leaving it alone and just doing simple top offs and feeding them Bacter AE and first bites. And that worked. And I have tons of little clown killifish. You can see it in the video. It's so cool to see all the different ones, and they're still spawning. I'm still finding new ones every day. I find new ones, or I think they're new ones, but I'm pretty good at telling which ones are brand new compared to ones that are a couple of days old now. It's not much difference, but it's definitely a difference. So exciting stuff. Hopefully I'll get them separated out and start getting them in some grow tanks and get some other tanks going, hopefully breeding as well. And then I'll get them on my website, because I'd love to share them with you. They're awesome little fish. Awesome little fish. Let's see. I like shrimp. Who else likes shrimp? I do. I have a bloated adult bettas, which I've been starving feeding live Daphne. Still bloated now, seeing slight raised scales. Need some advice, please. Ooh. Betta advice. It's better from him than from me. Ha ha. Boom, boom. Oh, I know. Boo, boo.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Sorry, I couldn't help it. Oh, that was funny. You found a Reese's Pieces. Eat it. Eat it now. And the other part of the title was breeding shrimp. So, of course, I've been breeding shrimp, and I hope everybody understands it's hard to keep up with demand, quote unquote, simply just breeding stuff I have. So I'm doing my best to make sure that the colonies don't get depleted. So right now on my website, it shows like everything's almost out of stock. And I did that on purpose, because I don't want to be left with absolutely nothing. And then I get stuck with an order and I only have 4 shrimp to send you instead of 5 or something like that, which happened recently. But I'm working out a deal so that way, if I need to, I can still take some orders and get them drop shipped to you. So that may be coming real soon. Um, and I'm also trying to get better stocked up. So bear with me. I'm getting there. But the focus is breeding because I'd rather breed everything. Well, when it comes to breeding, um, it doesn't go as fast as you would think. In some cases it does, but in others it doesn't. So like I have fancy red tigers that I've never put on the website, but those are starting to get to size, and I'm starting to get enough of them to where I'll feel okay starting to sell a few. Same thing with my red galaxies. They've been on the website and they're one of the only things that are left in stock, but they're breeding well. And there's a lot of shrimplets in that tank. Same thing with the extreme blue bolts. I only have one 5-pack listed on the website, but that's because I don't want to decimate the colony. I got to do some culling, but there's a lot of shrimplet in there, and I got to let them get to size before I start plucking them out of the tank. And then PRLs, I have a bunch of PRLs, but same thing there too. Again, I don't want to deplete the colony and then I don't have anything. So it's one of those things. That's why I got to get multiple tanks of each different strain, and I don't want to overload myself with every different strain that there is and then not have enough tank space. I'd rather focus on like 10 most popular, best breeding, and hardiest that I can come up with. And then, of course, some of my, favorites. But that's one of the things that breeding shrimp, it does take a while. It does take a while for them to grow to the right size. And when you have as many tanks as I do, it does get to be tank maintenance is critical. You got to keep the water clean. You got to make sure that as soon as you run across any kind of mystery deaths, you start to address it as soon as you can, so that way you don't have any spikes and end up crashing a colony. But yeah, I'm having so much fun. I'm enjoying it. And doing both the killifish and the shrimp, it's making me want to take like the 9 tanks behind me. Those are basically all guppies, pretty much. So I kind of want to take those and reset them and make them all Caridina tanks or all Neo tanks. And then the same thing over here. I want to take all 8 of these tanks and redo them and make them all Caridina tanks. But that's a lot of money, especially in the substrate. Well, that's where most of the money would go, in the substrate, to reset that many tanks and fill it with active substrate. That's where, having sponsorships and relationships with the manufacturers is a good thing for some of the bigger channels and YouTubers that have sponsorships. They can do that. It's kind of expensive, but hey, slowly but surely it'll happen. You can count on that. Why? Because
shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Yep. Should I be posting all of this advice so that way you have it for reference, easier to read? Let me see. I'll post some of them up there. And if you miss them, you can come back and watch them. What substrate do you use? I use Fluval Stratum and Brightwell. More of the Stratum lately because it's more readily available. And that's something that I think is important if I want to share the stuff that I learn. It's probably best that I do it with stuff that I know you guys can get your hands on. And fluval stratum, you can get it at any of the fish stores. So if I learn to use it, and it's gotten a lot better than what it used to be as far as buffering, um, at least from what I've seen. So I like it. I have good success with it, and it's usually pretty clean. That's what I really like about it. Um, and like I said, it's readily available. So that's kind of what I stick to. And in that way, there's a familiarity when I'm trying to, explain something that I'm doing or how I'm doing it. I don't have to get into a 1 hour stream dedicated to just this special kind of substrate that's really expensive, and you got to do all of this fancy stuff too, because that's totally not my style of keeping it shrimple. So, do these substrate work better than just sand? Well, yes, because for the Caridina, where the pH needs to be buffered lower, and the KH, you have to really have 0 KH for the Caridina to thrive in. That's what those substrates do, is they pull out the KH and they help keep the pH at a lower level. But I use sand, and I use a mixture of sand and active substrate in a lot of my tanks, just because I like the way it looks, and I like sometimes to put pool filter sand, so that way I have two different colors of surfaces besides just the dark substrate. Then I have lighter sand, so that way I can see the colors of the shrimp better. So it really depends on your flavor. But as far as working as an active substrate to buffer the soil or buffer the pH, that's the whole purpose behind it. Like I said, I do have some tanks that are mixed tanks, that I have a layer of substrate and then some sand capping it, or vice versa. I have sand in there and I put some active substrate on top. I'm thinking about trying the undergravel filter method with substrate in it. I think I want to try that just for the heck of it. Everybody else is doing it, so why not? But it seems like a pretty simple concept if it's done right, and why not? That's kind of the way I roll. I like to try things out and see. I like to figure out the whys. Hey, what's up, Jeffrey Watts? How you doing? Yellowstone, hello. I saw you snuck in here. New Local Austin, Poetic Song. I usually put sand and then fluval stratum or Rio Oscuro on top. Yeah. See, and that's the beauty of it. I just think having it in your tank, and some people, and I've even done it, to where I don't put the substrate in the tank. I put the substrate in like a breeder box, a hang-on breeder box, and let it work as a hang-on back filter, or sometimes putting it in a media bag inside a hang-on back filter. So there's many different ways it could be used, not just as a substrate. But I like fluval stratum because I think plants do really well in fluval stratum. So it gives me the flexibility to go both ways on planet or shrimp or community tank, or no plants at all. Let's see. Okay, y'all are talking about feeding peas. I've heard removed also enough to. More pea talk. I'm not playing the coffee cup sponsor, so nobody should be talking about pea. Oh wait, that's a different kind of pea.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
I go both ways. Yes. Sometimes I like the planted tank. Sometimes I like the not planted tank. It just really depends. That's why this tank right here is still empty, because I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do a video on it. So right now it's just substrate. No filtration, no nothing. I've had it like that for about a week now, and I'm going to start filming it as I start getting ideas of how I'm going to set it up and what I'm going to put in. I mean, I have so many options of what to put in it, but it's going to be shrimp, of course. I'm just not sure which ones. Glad to hear, Danielle. I could be better. The wife, kid, on my fighting off COVID and just go back through the little one. The doc said COVID. Ugh. Well, prayers, man. Hope everything gets better for you and your family. It's nasty stuff. You ever stuck a drain snake down your clogged sink and pull out a wad of hair? At Crown Tail Half Moon. I have. It happens. I guess, it's about par for the course. As much hair as I have, I'm lucky I have this much hair at this age. So I'm not surprised when I find hair stuck in. When the drains don't drain right, that's when you got to pull stuff out. That's just the way it is. It is what it is. Ugh. An overly used term, but yes, in that case, yeah, it is what it is. So, specials right now at Petco, they do have the 50% off. I know it's going until the 28th, and it's not as cool as it used to be with the $1 per gallon sale, but you could still get some pretty cool deals. Now, one of the things that perked my interest is not so much the 10-gallon tanks. I mean, that's the same as what it used to be. So you basically get a 10-gallon tank for $10. So that's the same. And for shrimp and the kind of stuff that I do, the 10-gallon tanks are perfect. But as I'm experimenting and playing around with the Clown Killies and doing some more focused selective breeding stuff, I kind of want to take advantage of the smaller tanks. So I did find, one of these little guys. Ooh. This one's a 2.5 gallon. There's the sticker. 2.5 gallon rimless glass aquarium. So, I mean, it doesn't look like it's anything heavy duty, but for a 2.5 gallon, I think for maybe doing some either clown killifish breeding in those, because I really don't need to put anything other than substrate and plants. Doesn't really need to be filtered. My other tank over here, there's no filtration going in. It's just the killifish and plants. So that's kind of the point is that they had those 2.5 gallons for $15. And for a little small rimless tank, that's a pretty good little deal. They look pretty sweet. I'll let you know how it goes, if they're worth a hoot, but we'll see. I thought it was a pretty good deal. Clown killie for almost a year, no breeding yet. I assume it's the snails eating the eggs. That could be part of it. And, it took me a while. I did a lot of research about clown killifish because I wanted to figure out what I needed to do and try to emulate it without getting overcomplicated. I saw some people use methylene blue in their aquarium. Some people use peat moss and water softeners and all kinds of stuff like this. What I did basically was just use the fluval stratum, made sure that the water pH was low, and my TDS, I keep it at around between 60 and 90 I only do water top offs. I don't do anything crazy as far as remineralizing. I did at the beginning because it was supposed to be a shrimp tank. And all I did was take out some of the water and top off with straight RO and got the TDS down pretty low and just kept it there pretty much since. So since I don't do a whole lot of water changes, I'm just topping off. It stays pretty consistent. And like I said, that's the biggest thing I learned was just keeping it simple, and removing the snails, which is a task. And yes, it gets to be a little bit, time consuming, but to me, it's worth it. And even now, there's more snails than I'd like to see in there, but they're producing well. So, other than just leaving it alone, there's really not a whole lot that I could show you different than what I showed in the videos, because that seemed to be the best thing. I tried other things and it didn't work. Nicole said she bought 2 of those and got a larger one with a lighted rim. Yeah, those are just a little bit more expensive. They're still 50% off, but they're a little bit more expensive. Let's see. You play musical tanks. I put my Clown Killies in my shrimp tank, and 3 months later, boom, I have fry. Yeah, and that's kind of my next step is I have my Caridina tank over here, what I call it. Right now it has some red King Kongs and pandas in there and guppies. So I want to take the guppies out and probably do a giveaway, or maybe just give them to my buddy across the way, and then put Clown Killifish in there. I want to put all the females that I have in there and then start using it as a grow out for the other fry as I catch them, and move them in there until I get another tank set up so I could put another breeding pair in that tank, which is probably that 2.5 gallon. So yeah, I want to start doing some shrimp with the Clown Killies, because that's the whole reason why I got into Clown Killies in the first place, was because I was looking for fish that I could put with shrimp. And that's what got me into the Clown Killies, because of their nano fish. And then I couldn't find them at the fish stores. They were hard to find online. So when I got some, I was like, I wonder if I can breed them. And my buddy laughed at me and was like, yeah, I've been trying to breed them forever and I can't get them to breed. And I was like, well, I'm going to try it anyways. And I did. And woohoo, it's worked out. And the proof's in the pudding. Like I said, it's taken me this long since I first saw the fry, which again, I went into surgery. I was unable to do anything with my aquariums for a couple of weeks at all, just try to look at them, but even that hurt, just looking at them. It did, trust me. So I went through a period of just doing nothing, absolutely nothing to the tanks, and next thing you know, I started seeing some fry. And then when I noticed the fry, they already had color to them, so I knew they were a couple of weeks old. Well, then I was sitting there thinking, well, it takes them 10 to 14 days for the gestation period. So these have to be like a month, 6 weeks that they've been in the tank, but I didn't see them. And I wonder why. Well, when I moved those out and left the 2 and let them grow up to start breeding, which is the parents now, by the time I saw the fry, I started seeing the colorless fry. And I think it was because I already knew how to look for them based on the first round. So I think that's a big part of it, is seeing them. And if you have a lot of cover on the top, like I do, it makes it really hard. And I think the other tank, it doesn't have any plants floating on the top, which I'm trying to get plant, but I don't want to mess with this one. So I need to get some floating plants in there like I have in this one, and I believe it'll do the same. But I think that's part of the success with this one, is how many plants there are and how much cover there is at the top of the tank for the baby fry to hide in. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? I know. I talk. The edgelit was cheaper than the rimless. Wow. The 14-gallon QB thing. Yeah, I'm looking at those too. I kind of like those rimless or frameless, the edgelit. You know, I like what they're doing. I like the design of the tank. It's nice to see tanks like that without having to spend $100 for a cube. Trust me, I'd love to have some of the other fancy tanks out there, the name brands, but whew, they're expensive. So if I can get by with keeping it shrimple with the regular Aquarium, you know, of decent quality, you know, sweet deal. That 50% ends up being pretty cool. That's what happened with your Gardneri. Yep. Musical tanks, because you pull the adults as you've seen the first fry. And see, that's again, in the series, you hear me in the very first part 1, I talk about, maybe I should pull the adults, but I don't know. And I'm just going to leave them there. And so I did. And they produced a lot of fry. And like I said, I pulled out about 20 of them and put them in the breeder box. And none of those made it. But that was a lot of babies that I was catching, you know, and putting them out. It would using a little eyedropper. And then in part 2, I talk about I wanted to pull the oldest of the fry because I saw that one snacking on a newborn fry. So I was thinking about doing that. And that's why I waited till they were about a week old before I pulled them. And again, that failed. But I only pulled a couple this time because I didn't want to lose 20. You know, I learned the hard way, unfortunately. But by the part 3, there are so many fry of different sizes, different ages, colorless to a little bit colored to fully colored, and then starting to get girth and grow more round. And it's just, there's so many, and all I did was leave it alone. So every time I've left it alone, it's worked out better. Now, I do know I'm going to have to pull, and that's why I'm getting other tanks and starting to get ready and even have some separated, because I know I'm going to have backups and other attempts and grow out tanks and all that stuff. And it's going to be a little project, kind of like with my shrimp, where I end up having, I got to get another tank so that way I can pull these out and let them grow. But hey, you know what? I'm proud of my MTS. I'm proud of it. You know, obviously, as you can see, I enjoy it. We love girth. Girth is good. Oh, Lordy. Shrimp and tank mates. What's up, BJ? How you doing? It started leaking soon after I got it. What kind did you get, Matt? The Aquarium frameless cube. Huh. Well, they look nice anyways, and I'm sure they'll come with their problems because they're not $100 tanks, but at the same time, I'm sure some of them, it's just like the other, when they used to be $1 per gallon, sometimes some of those tanks you'd get and it's the wrong dimensions and the glass is all uneven and it's got like way too much silicone on it. And then you get some that are like pristine. So, you know, that I guess it comes and goes with, but keep your receipts and return it if it's not good. I know that I did that with one of my fluval tanks once, the fluval flex, the 15-gallon size. I got it and I took it home and I had it set up for about 2 months, put some shrimp in there and started looking. No, it wasn't even 2 months. It was probably a month. And I put my shrimp in there, and I noticed that there was this little crack on the front. And it was about the size of a nickel lengthwise. And that crack then doubled in length and then tripled in length. And then next thing you know, I was feeling around and I was like, man, this is an actual crack. So I emptied it out, took the shrimp out, took it back to the store, gave them my receipt. They gave me a brand new one as a replacement and took it back home. And luckily got shrimp back in there and they didn't die. But so far I've had good experiences with any broken tanks that I buy brand new. You're printing some Fluval Spec 5 upgrades for a couple of people. What kind of upgrades? I know that I do, I modify all of my Fluval stuff so that way they'll hold shrimp better. But at the same time, some still do get in the back and get underneath, but I catch them and pull them out and put them back up front. But I like those. I like the Fluval. I like all of the Fluval stuff, but I've had to modify them so that way they work for me better for shrimp. But one of them I used to call it my little shrimp factory. It was a Fluval 9-gallon. And that thing, I don't know how many hundreds of shrimp came out of that thing. They thrived, and that's why I ended up getting so many more tanks in such a short period of time, was because of that one Fluval Flex 9-gallon that was a little shrimp factory. And I had thousands and thousands of Neos because of that. You have 2 of the 5-gallon rimless aquariums. I'm not happy with the pumps. Both of them surge. I'm not familiar with the 5-gallon rimless ones. Well, I guess it's probably like the 2.5-gallon one, but I'm not familiar with their pumps. One of the ways that I found to make it safe, Jeffrey Watts, is Fluval makes those pads that have like filter floss on one side and then a coarse sponge on the other. And I'll buy those and then I'll cut them to size and put them inside the little covers. And I'll snap that in place with that little filter floss in there. And that's one way to keep it from getting the shrimp getting in there. And then on the lower side where they have the little holes, I'll stack up the substrate high enough to where it covers all of that. And then sometimes if I think the pump is too strong, I'll cut every other impeller off, or I just take the pump out and put an air stone in there and make it a lift tube. So that way it works as a bubbler, a lift tube kind of thing like that. I've thought about doing a video. Well, that's what got me started, Dee Dee, because when I used to do that with all of my aquariums and I made them all, because I had every single Fluval size possible. I was a Fluval nut when I first started. And so I retrofitted all of them. And that's where my son kept on pushing me, Dad, you need to start a YouTube channel. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just taking pictures. And he was like, yeah, but you should do it and put those pictures on YouTube. And I'm like, whatever, man. And then when he'd leave the room, I'd go look up on YouTube stuff. And then I was like, hey, wow, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. and then, so yeah, I ended up starting a channel. But I probably should. The only thing is that I got away from buying those Fluval expensive ones and got into the $1 per gallon and started doing the more simple setups because, well, to be honest, because of moolah. So I love shrimp.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Thanks for the reminder, Stephen P. I needed that. block off the bottom and cover it up with substrate. Yeah, I mean that's that was the easiest way for me, you know. And yes, you end up with a deep bed of substrate, but you can do a lot with that. You really can. So again, also if it has the cover that goes on the bottom port as well, you can use a piece of that filter floss, or you can put filter floss in there, or you can use a piece of an old sponge and cut it up. There's all kinds of different ways to block those things off, but that seems to work the best and to keep the flow going through that whole system. And you don't need as much flow as those pumps pump in, but you can also make it work. You can just direct the flow a different way. There's all kinds of different things you can do. Yeah, you know, I know, I know. Which video file? The I Love Shrimp one? The 12-volt DC mini pumps would probably fit too, but they might be a bit too much flow for a 5-gallon. Yeah, I mean, the best thing that worked for me, like I said, was just taking off every other impeller on the impeller. They usually have six little fins, and then you can change it to a 3-fin one, and that seems to work pretty good. But then also putting an air bubbler in it and an air stone and just doing it like a lift tube, that works well too. And that's about perfect as far as flow goes. It might be even not enough depending on your air pump. Also still waiting on the I Like It When You Call Me Big Papa Shrimp merch. I know I need to do that. I already have it in my head how I want it to look, so I just need to put it together and do it. But as you can see, I've been having fun with that part 3 of the Clown Killifish. That took a lot out of me. It could, just because editing it, you know, I tried to make it a little bit different than the other two, but still keep the same kind of theme. I wanted it to be more focused on the fry and the close-up videos and just them being them and watching them eat and swim around and dart around. And just, I wanted to make sure I caught a lot of that. To me, that was really cool, just seeing some of the footage that I caught when I was rewatching it. So yeah, it distracted me. Yes, I was distracted on that, but now I'm done with it and I can move on and do more and get some merch going. I'm starting over from scratch. Will be a completely new setup. I've learned so much from Papa Shrimp, LRB, Mark Shrimp Tags, Bob Moss. Yeah, you can learn a lot from everybody. And now, you know, Lucas was one of my first, where I'd watch Lucas all the time. And, you know, I was just so amazed at what he was doing. And he kind of inspired me, you know, to take on that approach. And then as he started changing over to being more natural, it just felt so right. And then I saw Lucas's video on Father Fish, and then I started watching Father Fish, and I was going, well, see, this is some of the stuff I've been learning and thinking, but people would think you're crazy if you told them you don't need filtration and you don't need this and that, and let the plants do it and do it naturally. But I didn't mind. Call me crazy. Like I said, that's why I just keep it shrimple as much as possible. And yes, I fiddle around with the toys and the gadgets too, because I want to learn. I want to see why and why not. Again, that's part of my makeup, and what makes me me is that I want to know why, whether good or bad. I want to know why. And sometimes I'll just do it myself and find out and go, oh, That's why. Okay, got it. You know, that's all a part of it. You got to learn. But I feel better because I'm not going to share with you stuff that I haven't done myself. I'm not going to give you recommendations on something that I just heard from somebody who heard it from somebody else. You know, I'm going to tell you if I've done it myself. Yes, I feel confident in doing this or recommending this. Or I might tell you, hey, I don't know. Just like it was better to get information from Dr. Anthony about bettas because I don't know anything about bettas. You know, I ain't too proud to say I don't know. Sorry. But I'm going to make my mistakes and I'm going to buy gadgets and I'm going to try them out and then I'm going to tell you why they're either really cool or why they're not for me. And whether they're for you, more power to you, but didn't work for me. What's up, Joseph Stanley? Hey, I just updated your contact in my phone because I got a new phone. I got away from my Apple phone. Sorry, all you iPhone lovers, but I am not a fan. So I had to get out of it. It got to the point to where I was having to charge it put it on a charger at least twice a day. And the battery would just deplete and run out. So got tired of it and got me an Android. So I had to update my contacts. I did it manually because I'm old school. And we need to talk so we can figure out about the auction and the upcoming meetings and see what we got going on. I need to go talk to Sue. So as soon as I do, I'll let you know. I admit to my students, I don't know. And we all look for the info together. Yeah, see? And that's what I love about this community too, is because there's so many people now that we can pull from or get to help us find the information we need. And sometimes it's information that can benefit a lot more than just the one person. It can, benefit us all to learn a little bit about something. But having that ability with such a wide network of people from all levels of experience, from beginners to pros to intermediates, to just hobbyists with one tank to, enthusiasts or addicts with, multi-tank syndrome. I love it, man. It's so awesome. And we can all learn from each other. It's so much fun. Jeffrey Watts. No. Android. Yep. Sorry. That Apple was just, I fought it and fought it and fought it for 2 years now. So glad. I'm so glad I'm away from it. That's how everybody learns. Yep. Oh man, I had a story about my son one time where he asked me to help him with his homework. And I tried and I spent 2.5 hours. And at the end of that 2.5 hours, when I thought I had an answer, he was like, no, Dad, that's not the way we're supposed to do it. We got to do it this way. And you put all of the tens places in this little grid and you put all the fives places in this. And I was like, I don't know how to do math that way. Sorry. What about, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, regular old math? And he was like, no, we can't do it that way, Dad. I was like, I give up. Oh, that's crazy. Boo, Apple, yay, droid, Dord, do-eared. Dyslexic much? Yes, and believe it or not, it is so much easier. That's why 100% of the video for those, 90% of the video for those Clown Killifish breeding series was done on my S10 Samsung phone. It had much better close-up. It had much better clarity. The Apple was very, very, it didn't do very good close-up shots. And the way the files came over to my laptop are not correct. They just have to do all kinds of upgrades and a new codec, and all. I just rather stick with the plug and play. Sorry, keeping it shrimple, even with my technology. Despite everything I learned in my computer programming classes, yes, I'm still a PC person. Yes. Well, it doesn't help if you type fast backwards. That's got to be some kind of talent there. Dyslexia with typing really fast backwards. Try saying that 10 times really fast. I can't even say it once. What am I talking about? I'm trying to look here, see if I have any other goodies that I wanted to say anything. Yeah, it was the S10 Galaxy or whatever that I had. That's what I did my videos with. Now this one, I tried it today. This one's just like an A36, but it got me out of the Apple. So I'm just happy. And plus I can watch stuff on my TV that I record on my phone, which is really cool. I love being able to do that and just play it on my TV. But I was taking some video earlier. I was going to try to capture some before so I could share it with you guys on the stream. But so far, what I was able to get, it's going to take me a little bit to learn how to use it right, but I was getting some really good video, some really clear close-up shots too. So that helps when you're dealing with shrimp. It's got a macro setting. I got to figure that one out and see what that's all about. But it looks like I can close up just as well as I can in the macro mode. But we'll see. Like I said, I just got it today and going to have fun with it and see. And it's actually cheaper than the plan that I was on before with the Apple. So saving a few bucks here and there. Yeah, I would love the S22. Trust me, I want the S22. That's what I really wanted, but that's a lot of money, and not yet. Maybe in the distant future, but not yet. Like I said, what's the point of having my Apple phone if I can't use it for the stuff that I need it for? And then, especially because the battery was dying on me so fast. I felt like I had to carry around a little charger pack just in case, because if my phone died, then I could plug it into the charger pack. But why do you have to do that? That's just, the phone's old. Not even 2 years old, but it was old. It was old to where it wasn't working right. The fragmentation of the software killed it for me. I get it. Yeah, but it seems like almost all of them do that at some point, and they start getting so fragmented. And it's not like your PC where you can go in and defrag. But I have a habit of, once I start loading my phone up with too much video and pictures, I also pull them off and put them onto my extra external hard drive. So that way I don't use up all my memory space. All right. See you later, Poetic Song. Thanks for coming in. Yes, I can imagine. So far, I haven't charged it yet. I got it straight from the store. It's still at 40%. I got it. It was at 55%. And my other phone, I would have already had to have it on the charger. So yeah, so much nicer. Yeah, and like I said, I like my S10. I almost asked them about just sticking my SIM card into the S10, but as cheap as this was, I figured why not, and then eventually I'll upgrade to the next 40 or whatever it is whenever I upgrade. um, so yeah, Keeping It Shrimple episode 24 was clown killifish breeding and shrimp breeding. I know I probably talked more about the clown killifish, but that, like I said, that's been an awesome project, and it's been for me successful. Um, the next part of it will be when and if I duplicate it in other tanks and get the same kind of results in these other tanks. That's going to be, I think, the next big step in the overall, breeding clown killifish project. And of course, the shrimp is ever going. Uh, I haven't stopped trying to breed. I'm just not trying to carry, like I said, I don't want to carry 20, 30 different strains of shrimp and need 300 tanks at this point. At some point, yes. Right now, no. I'd rather focus and get really good at a few strains and the most popular ones that I think, and um, go from there as I get better at taking care of those, then I'll feel more comfortable adding and expanding. But I got to utilize my tank space properly. So to have so many tanks going, but not so many different strains, um, that's kind of where I could be utilizing my fish room more efficiently and get a few more or double up what I have now. If that makes sense. So hopefully we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. Y'all will let me know what y'all need and what y'all want, because I know y'all actually.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
And it's up to me to make sure I get more so that way I can share them, right? And that way we can all love shrimp. But hey, the other thing, like I said, I'm setting up a deal to where if I don't have them, I can most likely get them drop shipped to you from my guy. So that way I can still sell you shrimp and not have to worry if I don't have them or if I have to get them in. And he does the same deal, 100% guaranteed. He'll take care of you if anything goes wrong, just like I would. That's why I offer the same thing. But we'll see. I still want to get them in my tank first, kind of, but also I don't want y'all to have to wait too long when you can get them drop shipped direct. So we'll see how that goes. Hi, Sandy. It's okay. You can always be on the replay crew as well. Joseph Stanley is replay captain. Captain Replay. Because Wednesday's his date night. You need and want shrimp? Yeah, you were supposed to talk to me. I thought you said you wanted to get some. I'll get you the hookup. You know me. Hey, what's up, Dave? We only got a couple more minutes. I'm going to let everybody get out of here. So that way you can go to your next favorite stream. Make sure you say hello. I appreciate every one of you that's doing the hashtag I love shrimp. That's so much fun. Just remember, keep it nice. Hopefully, I'd rather people have fun with it than get annoyed with it, if that makes sense. So use it wisely and have fun with it. But I appreciate it, seeing it everywhere. Hashtag I love shrimp. That's so awesome.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Thank you for all my mods for coming in and helping me out. Again, I didn't see any bots. And if there were, thank you for taking care of them. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Matt. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. See you around in the streams. And thanks for keeping it shrimple with me. We'll see you next time. Peace.